and welcome to ADHD Friendly. I am Patty Blinderman. I am a professionally certified ADHD coach since 2012, and my passion is finding ways to tilt the playing field so that we are thriving with ADHD. Surviving sucks. Let's thrive. All right. So if you haven't already, I invite you to check out my website, ADHD-Friendly.com, for lots of resources, as well as information on my ADHD Friendly membership. And more on that in a minute from our sponsor. Okay. I felt like Austin Powers our sponsor. So today the topic is going to be, are you noise sensitive? I'm going to talk about what that might look like. A lot of us with ADHD are. But before I get into our main topic, I'm going to share a celebration. And like I always do, Becca just never stops just filling me up with appreciation and gratitude. So we are at 8:40.
No, we're not.
5. I love it. Even though that's not a 0, it's a nice round number.
That is a lovely number.
So happy. So welcome new subscribers, welcome existing subscribers. I got to tell you, and I mean this sincerely, 845 is a huge amount of subscribers.
Yeah.
And I would never want, I want as many people as, find something that's helpful in the podcast. But if I have 845 engaged, really
listeners and viewers.
Oh my gosh. So welcome. And I hope you find something today that helps you to thrive with ADHD. All right. So my other celebration is it's funny. I was just telling my assistant, Becca, who's always usually here when I'm recording to help me not just be talking to a camera, kind of two-dimensional. It makes it much more easy to have a real conversation and share things when I have somebody I'm talking to, as opposed to just love you guys, but I can't see you. So I was saying I had, it's been like a little bit of an up and down week. And on Friday, it was more of I just had like low energy when I got up, which was odd because it was a Friday, and Fridays are usually like my happy, I love Friday. We're going into the weekend. I did have a bunch of mulch delivered, which you know about. So I think that may have been part of it was like lingering, like, oh my gosh, I've got mulch in my future. But I had a body double session where we were focused on, I call them power hours, where I share a little bit of information at the beginning, and then we spend the majority of the time body doubling on the thing that we are focused on for that hour. So on Friday, we were focused on personal owner's manuals. I typically do a session on that every month. And I decided for my personal owner's manual time, I was going to go through my visual success journal. And you guys know I call it my expecto patronum journal, if you are a follower of the podcast. And as always, if you are listening to this, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly, for any of the visual things that I share in this episode. But my visual success journal is a way for me to literally connect more easily with things that remind me that my days aren't always down. I don't always suck. It helps me to shift from negative to positive mindset. And it's it's my absolute favorite go-to tool. And it's, for me, an extension of my personal owner's manual, where it just became, it was too much to have it all in one place. So I broke it out separately. But my celebration is that I added a new page of emails from my clients that I had printed out, where they shared appreciation and different things that they were getting from working with me, which is just always really helpful to remind myself of. And then I also have a new page of evidence I can social, which is evidence that I can succeed having social interactions. And I found that after I added the pictures and created the new pages, and I went through and I had like 5 more minutes before the body double time was over just to flip through it. And it did what I know it always does, and that is boost my energy and shift my perspective. And I had a totally different energetic feel at the end of that session than I did at the beginning. So that is my win. Using our tools really does work. All right. So now to the newer segment of the podcast, what I purchased this week. What are the new things I bought? So I got mulch, got a lot of it, got 14 cubic yards of mulch. It's a lot of mulch. It's a lot of mulch. And we spent the weekend doing mulch, and it doesn't, in my brain, it doesn't look like we've really impacted it very much, even though I've spread as much mulch as I care to spread. And now I feel like I'm just kind of in that, I have to spread the rest of it, even though I really don't So I'm making a note to order less next year because I just don't think I need it. But it does look really pretty. And I did check off the weight bearing
Yeah.
exercise for the week by doing the mulch. So that's good. I also bought, so that was a need. I needed to get the mulch, not a life and death need, but it did fall under the need category. I'm trying to track things based on, do I need them or do I want them when I'm purchasing them? I purchased hair dye, need. Argue if you like, need. Dog food, need. Sharpies, need, because I
Yeah.
use them every day when I'm coaching. Mascara and lip liner, again, need. Argue if you like, these are non-negotiables for me. There's like the two things every day: lipstick, mascara, gotta be there. I also purchased a new 1,000-piece puzzle.
Ooh.
It is a want.
What is the
but it
puzzle
kind of felt
of?
like a need. So it's a Vincent van Gogh
Ooh.
collection of paintings. I'm going to put it in my happy room because it has a lot of yellows and blues in it. I think it's
Oh,
gonna
I
look really
love
nice. I'm gonna
that.
have my husband frame it when I'm done, so I'm excited about that. So I would say it kind of borders on want and need because it does check the box for me for interest and it was a reward. So, but technically it was a want.
What?
And then the last thing I bought was I got some new earplugs. I'm going to update that. If you can help me remember next week, Becca, if I don't talk about it. And they came out of my research for this episode that we're going to talk about. Are you noise sensitive? I am very noise sensitive. And my husband and I are going to a concert on Friday night, going to go see Heart.
Oh my gosh,
Heart.
how fun.
Yeah. But loud.
Yeah.
Right. And so one of the reasons I don't like concerts is because they're so loud. And in my research, I learned about these. They're called high fidelity concert earplugs.
Ooh.
They were only $15.99 for 2 pairs. So I got one for me, one for him. He doesn't even know it yet. But loud noises really aren't good for us. So I am going to be wearing them to the concert and I will report back on how they were. So that I checked as a need because I literally need to check my ears.
Yeah.
So it was sparkly and it was a little impulsive, but it was a need. Because it, like when I looked, I was like, wait, when is this coming up? And when I saw they actually arrived yesterday, so I have them in time for the concert. So
good.
very excited about that. All right. So before I dive into the tool for the week and the topic, I have a quick word from our jump ahead a minute if you don't want to hear it. It's all good. Won't be offended. All right. So ADHD Friendly, the membership is designed to literally take your everyday challenges and find ADHD friendly solutions to be able to have them not get in your way. And I just want to highlight that if you have a hard time planning, if you have a hard time pausing and following through on your intentions, right? We make a lot of plans, we have a hard time implementing them. ADHD Friendly is designed to meet you where you are and help you build to a place that will allow you to go where you want to go. And today is the 29th when this comes out. And on Friday, I'm having a live plan your month session. So if you haven't joined and you want to check it out, join for a month. If you don't like it, cancel. There's no minimum amount of time to be a member, but while you're in there, you get the ADHD friendly planner, you get the planner course. Everything is in the platform that you can access as a member. So I invite you to check it out. So we're going to plan your month on Friday at 12 Eastern. That's an hour session where I walk you through my monthly planning process and build in time for you to do the planning steps so that you leave the session. If not all of the month of June planned, you'll have a good jump on planning the month. Certainly more than where you started. And then in June, my focus for the Wednesday power hours, that's the structure I've really developed over the last month. June is going to be focused on money. So I'm going to have all Wednesdays in June, the power hour will be focused on a different money topic with some strategies and then body double time to take action around it. So I invite you to check out ADHDfriendly.com and see if you want to join the membership and be part of the ADHD Friendly community. All right, now back to the program. I hope that was a minute so you could like skip and just get there because that's what I do. I gotta be honest, guys, I get it. All right, so the tool for this week, this comes from the research I did, and I thought, oh, my tip is if you are an Apple phone, Apple, kind of world person, I got the new Apple AirPod, the AirPods Pro. Ooh. I had the original, generation 1, I guess it was called. and one of them just completely stopped working. Actually, it was like, I would put it in, it would make this really loud, like
Oh,
really bad. So I was down to one, which isn't a problem because I usually wear one at a time.
sure.
But when this one died, I didn't have I usually kind of just switch off. So I don't usually ever have a problem with not having an active one charged because I don't wear them both
Both at the same time.
typically, unless I need to like noise cancel.
Yeah.
But I never found the noise cancellation worked really well in the generation 1, so I didn't use it for that. But here comes generation 2. So they come with a MagSafe charging case. So that's where you can just set it down on the little, it does not come with the MagSafe charger, but I had that for my phone. So I can just drop it and it goes every time. It's like this happy little, oh, I'm charging. It makes me happy. I love the happy little sound. Or you can charge it with the USB-C cable.
Cord,
that works too. The AirPods last 33% longer the charge than the generation 1 did.
Really?
And I have to say the pairing was seamless. So I connected it to my phone first, and then it said, do you want to connect to all other devices in your Apple account?
Yeah.
And I said, yes. So now when I turn on your computer, it will pair to my AirPods. If I turn on my computer, it pairs to my AirPods. If I get in my car, it pairs to like everything pairs.
Yeah, easily.
I didn't have to go in each device and tell it, recognize these
nice.
and you constantly do. And I remember I had to do that with the first one. So that was very easy. They also say that they have 2 times more active noise cancellation. I can tell you, yes, these actually do function as, so I do use them both when I'm trying to cancel out noises.
Smart.
Like if my neighbors are mowing the lawn, I literally am like, oh, let me put them in. So they are working. Like that never worked for me with the original ones. They also have something called conversation awareness. So it would really be agitating to me if I was listening to something and one of my family members would come up as I was like working in the garden or something, they would talk and I was like, because I've got like my hands in dirt and I'm listening to a podcast or a story and I had to, kind of get my phone and hit pause. These automatically turn down the volume if I just say 1 or 2 words, or they'll completely pause what I'm listening to if I'm saying more. It's very intuitive.
Yeah.
And then it will, if I don't talk for about 5-7 seconds, it just automatically starts back up. And I really noticed this during the mulch this weekend where I was like, somebody was talking to me and I got very confident in I can just talk and they'll stop. And I don't, because I couldn't touch them because my hands were covered in mulch. So I really, really do like that. So far I'm loving them for their noise cancellation, but also for their intuitive, that's like it's a step up from where they were. I did look yesterday. I believe the sale ended yesterday. So, but I have to say, I bought mine a month ago and they were on sale then too. So it looks like, where I get them. Costco has a pretty common, frequent sale for them. So I would say check out if they're not on sale, keep checking back to see if they go on sale, if you're in the market for new AirPods. At the apple.com store, they're $249. Not a, bargain basement price.
Right.
But here's the thing. At Costco, they were on sale and they were, again, like I said, they were on sale a month ago when I bought them. They were on sale again, but the sale ended yesterday. But again, it probably will start up again in a few weeks, at least judging from what I just noticed from when I bought them a month ago. They were $189.99 and it came with 2 years of Apple Care included.
Oh my gosh.
And so if you add the Apple Care to the Apple ones at the Apple site, that was another $29 on top of the $249. So I'm like, these were like almost $100 less at Costco. Same exact things. The only thing you can't do at Costco is get them engraved. And I did have, that's included for free at Apple. And I did have my original case engraved. And I did like that because if you leave it behind, but you know what I have? I have a label maker. I just did it with a label. It's not quite as good. But for $189.99,
yeah, I'll take it.
It's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. All right. So that's my tool for the week. And that leads us into the topic for this week, which is, are you noise sensitive?
Yep.
And I have to say, if you have ADHD, there's a decent chance you do have some sensitivities and that noise might be one of them. So this comes from a wired.com article. It was written by Amy Paturel. I'm so sorry, Amy, if I say your name wrong. I'm so bad at pronouncing these, but it was back in March. I've been holding on to this article for a little while. And in the article, she shared that there was a 2023 UK study that showed that nearly 1 in 5 adults have some level of noise sensitivity. And this is looking at the entire population, not kind of breaking out subgroups of people with ADHD or people with autism or anything like that. But they did show that people with ADHD, autism, or a sensory I'm like, what am I saying? A sensory processing disorder may have a sensory sensitivity. And there are at least 29 diagnosable medical conditions that are linked to noise sensitivity.
Interesting.
So I'm not going to go into all of that. That's all the medical thing. So per the article, once you have a full hearing evaluation to ensure that your sensitivity to sound does not reflect an early sign of hearing loss or a hearing disorder, there are many tools that can make the noise level in your immediate environment more tolerable. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Because there are a lot of things that can contribute to noise sensitivity.
Sure.
I can't say some of them. One of them is misophonia, tinnitus does it, anxiety, depression, and there's something called hyperacusis. I'm probably saying that wrong too. ACUSIS, hyper-ACUSIS. All very interesting, but they're all kind of diagnosable conditions. We're talking about just general noise sensitivity.
Yeah.
And so here's a little bit more that the research shows noise can impact. And it's not just your hearing, sleep. So literally it can impact your ability to settle down if you've had like a high level of noise throughout the day.
Sure.
But also if there's noise that because you can't shut your ears off, right? So like you can close your
Around us.
eyes. Yeah, you might like buy like soft clothing and you can't stop hearing unless you actively, like with my AirPods.
Cancel it.
There's a stress response to noise that is impacted if especially you're sensitive. So for 20 to 40% of people who are noise sensitive, sounds above a certain decibel level trigger your amygdala. So remember, that's the part of your brain that triggers that fight or flight. Okay. So it will boost your heart rate. So your heart's going to be working harder. It increases your blood pressure. It also triggers your body, because remember, you're producing that stress hormone when you're triggering stress to produce those inflammatory cells. Over time, those changes can lead to chronic inflammation and high blood pressure. Just talking about this is raising my blood pressure. I apologize. It does make me stressed because I'm so sensitive to noise. I'm aware that this is literally, I can feel the stress when I'm in loud environments, and I never liked noise. I remember as a kid, I was that kid that never wanted to go to fireworks displays. You too?
My grandma, when we had the 4th of July, the parades, and they have the guns.
Oh yeah,
and
yes.
She would have to walk me around the block at certain parts of the parade because I would get so worked up and nervous. I hated, she put cotton balls in my ears.
Yes, which now is a very common thing. You see a lot of parents will put little earbuds, or they'll put the headphones on their kids.
That was the thing.
That was not a thing. No. And now it's much more socially acceptable to have that thing.
But you also, same thing as a kid, you didn't love.
Oh, I hated them. Always hated them. I was always very anxious. Didn't want to go. I didn't mind if I could sit but there's always you can see it before you can hear it. So it always scared me. So I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And to this day, they're one of the things, and I don't it wasn't like I was ever in a war zone where it's a real thing that people have post-traumatic stress and I've just never liked loud noises. And so I don't like to go to crowded places. Not only because I don't like crowds, I don't like the noise created. I'm going to show this in the strategies in a minute, but a really quick story. In 2016, we are huge ACDC fans, and we got tickets for our 2 boys to take them to see them in concert. I had never seen them in concert. My husband had, but I never had. And they were on my bucket list. I always say there's like literally 5. Yeah, because there's like a literal handful of musicians that I would go and tolerate the crowds and the noise for
the experience
of seeing them play live. And it's such a short list. Well, ACDC was on that list. We were so excited. And this was in March. And 2 shows before our show was when Brian Johnson, the lead singer of ACDC, very abruptly pulled out and said, I can't perform anymore live because he was in danger of literally losing his hearing.
Oh my gosh.
Full hearing. And so the quote was, "Playing stadiums where sound levels are beyond my current tolerance posed a serious threat to my hearing," which is why he had to stop. And so we never got to see them. And I remember at the time, selfishly, and it's sorry to admit this, but it's true, kind of feeling like, really, Brian? Really? You couldn't do 2 more shows? Just 2 more? But apparently, again, it's that. And now after reading this, I really do have a different take on it. And it really did. And I'm sure he'll be thrilled to hear that my whole perspective on it has changed. I now understand because
Sorry,
it's the
Brian.
the
Yeah.
repeated level of exposing your ears, and
That loud noise.
you can't undo it. It's what we tell our kids when they're blasting, like, you're gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
That is so hard for anybody, but especially when we have ADHD, we don't connect to our future self in a
Yeah.
way that will make decisions today that support that future self to be able to be protected. So with that in mind, I do have some tools to share.
Yeah.
So these are some home tools, some things that you can do to help mute sounds just around your home. One is soft window covering. So just think about things that absorb sound. So if
Yeah.
you just have windows with maybe wood slatted blinds or plastic blinds or whatever, soft materials will absorb sounds. Fabric art on the walls. So again, thinking back to
Really?
anything that will absorb sound, and fabric will, which is why restaurants are often so loud, because they're the opposite. They don't want any fabric because they
No.
can't keep that clean enough to be able to
Sure.
serve food. Absorbent floorings. So this can be rugs, but it also can be like, if you think about like play mats in kids' rooms, if it's like on a wood floor, you put down mats, so it's absorbing. There are, to kind of muffle the sound, air purifiers and white noise machines will
Love my white
drown out.
noise machine.
Yep, they'll drown out those disruptive noises. There is a website. I printed a picture of this and I sent it to my daughter, who's a teacher. And of course she'd already heard of it and used it. But it's called Bouncy Balls. Bouncy Balls, sorry, that's okay. Just gotta rein it in there. I'm like, bouncyballs.org is the website. It's free.
Ooh.
And so it's you activate and it's listening to the sound. So it's these little balls that just kind of hang out at the bottom of the screen, and they're just kind of jiggling a little bit. And then when there's a little bit of noise, I took a couple of screenshots so you could see it. They start going up. And then here's the funny thing. If they really go up, it says shh. So it's literally helping you be aware how loud the noise is. And then there was one more thing. I sneezed and I forgot it was on, and it said too loud. It doesn't say anything. Yeah. So it's just a visual way to see. And what I loved, a lot of this was designed for classrooms.
I was gonna say little kids, because
Yep. So they can literally
watch
see if it's a
the
quiet
noise.
time when we're all working quietly or reading quietly, you can like kind of watch the balls and see. I don't know. Again, I was a special education teacher. I don't know how well that would have worked. I think my kids would have wanted to see it.
Yeah,
It's been
just
more
scream it.
interesting. Yeah, to keep the balls kind of bouncing. So anyway, and one more digital tool, if you will. There's an app, and I do now have this on my phone, and I do find it very interesting. You have to have it up and open for it to be reading the sounds in your environment, and you have to connect it to your microphone. But you can go into the settings and say only while using, kind of thing. So it's called the NIOSH, NIOSH sound level meter. It's a free app. It helps you see noise levels and it shares that repeated exposure to noises above 75 to 85 decibels for more than 8 hours a day can damage your auditory system. Normal speech is 70 decibels. So it's literally fatiguing your auditory system. If you think about, you get a few people, you get it, even a conference room kind of thing, or certainly restaurants, if you're in that environment where you're exposed to loud noises, you have that, it kind of lets you know. Now, I do keep a very quiet house, so I haven't had it go off, but I do pull it out and I'll try, even like if there's like birds, like in the birds in the morning, and it's loud, like it's interesting how loud even nature can be. And then they said that 100 decibels, and this is where I understood the ACDC thing. They said 100 decibels for 15 minutes has the same impact on your auditory system as the 8 hours of 75 to 85 decibels. So just 15 minutes is the same impact as pretty much all day. Exactly. So it's really important to be aware of, and that's where I went and I ordered these AirPods, these earplugs, because we are going to be sitting at a concert for minimum of an hour, probably an hour and a half. I don't know how long they play, but usually they're at least an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm like, and that's definitely going to be above 100, and that's an hour. I don't need any more. I did enough to my ears when I was a teenager. I don't need to add any more kind of weight to that I already have on there. But that really helped me to see why he had to stop immediately. And again, I'm
Right.
reading into this. This is not what he said. I'm just like, well, yeah, you couldn't do it another time at all.
Right,
If
like
it's like
another
every
2
time,
shows.
every time you're impacting, and one day they could just be like, we're done,
Gone.
we're done. And you can't get it back.
No.
So at least not yet. Science isn't there yet. So another strategy, this is just my kind of what I do, because I've not liked loud noises my whole life. So I will read like Consumer Reports when I'm buying a new vacuum, you know, because they're loud
They are
inherently.
very
But there
loud.
are some that are a little quieter. But now I can wear my noise
Yes.
canceling. You also, I will go and I will read like Yelp or Google reviews for restaurants, and I look for keywords noise and loud. And I search for reviews to see what or quiet, right? So I look for reviews that will tell me if it's a restaurant I'm not familiar with, or I'm going with people and they don't know either. I want to know, are we not going to be able to even hear each other in there? I won't enjoy it. Like and then I get really irritated because I'm like, I'm going out and I'm spending this money and I'm tolerating it instead of enjoying it. So I'm really intentionally looking for a place that's known to be quiet so I can really relax and enjoy myself. Another thing to consider, and I do this a lot with my students, but I have to say it works for us as adults as well. Your public library has study rooms. They have, you know, those little rooms that you can, exactly. You can schedule them. If they're not being used, you can walk in and use them. But if you want to know you're going to have quiet, dedicated time, if you need to work on something, if you just want to be able to go and know that you're going to be in an environment that's quiet, you can go and schedule them. And they're free. They're at your public library. So that's just some of the ones I came up with, or that I found in the research. If you're noise sensitive, what has worked for you? What other strategies have you tried? Again, this is episode 136. We all learn from each other. I would love to hear what you found works for you to help with noise sensitivity. Okay. I'm going to go to my Reese's. They're sitting over here. They're distracting me. So you guys, again, I've shared before, I am a huge Reese's fan. It is my favorite go-to candy, chocolate. I prefer a higher ratio of peanut butter
compared
to
to chocolate.
So for me, my favorite are always the seasonal shapes. The Christmas tree, the Easter egg, to me, the Easter egg, hands down, is the best shape. It is the best chocolate to peanut butter ratio. It's so good. Well, there's a new one for the Olympics called medals.
So cute.
And they're shaped like little Olympic medals. So I opened one just so I could share, not because I ate one.
Of course not.
It's a pretty decent size.
Oh, that's a good,
right? And so
butter.
I typically, and I haven't looked at this one, I do know 2.4 ounces. I do think that they make
Is it
them
heavy?
It's a decent heft. Yeah. Here, I don't want you to touch it. You don't like these, do you? I don't want to. Damn it. I'm not good at sharing chocolate, guys.
No,
so it's
I'm
going to
good.
come out, my selfishness, and I've already touched it. You don't want it.
Yeah, no. Cootie.
I can't give you the new one because that's 2. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. Becca's laughing because she knows it's true. I'm not going to share them. I will like ration this bad boy out the next 3 days. This is going to help me with my intermittent fasting. This is my treat at the end of the meal. But you're welcome to feel the heft of it.
Feel it.
But don't eat it.
That's pretty heavy.
I know.
That's a lot of peanut butter.
I have to say, I really do like the peanut butter to ratio of the chocolate of this shape. So thumbs up.
Thumbs up
to the Reese's medals at a store near you. These were $1. I didn't add to my list because I just bought it yesterday afternoon. $1.66, but it was buy 2 get 1 free. So how many do you think I bought?
3.
Of course.
Yeah.
I knew what's funny is I bought 2, and then I literally remembered reading the sign. I was like, oh my gosh, grab the free one. Because I was like, do you need the 3rd? And I was like, but it's free.
Yeah.
So actually I have 3. And I'm still not sharing.
Like, I'm so bad.
I would open this one and give you one. If
No,
like one.
no. Please keep your medals. Your chocolate medals.
Thank you. I would give you one. If I knew that you, because I have to say, some of my kids are like, yeah. I'm like, no. I'm like that with my tasty cake pies. I'm like, yeah. If you don't appreciate it, you're not worthy
of the chocolate.
No. Okay. On to my book of the week. All right. So this is called One Summer in Savannah. It's by Tara Shelton Harris. Looks like this This was my book club book of the month. It was a fast read. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. It's a light summer read. It has some holes in the plot.
Oh.
It has a couple of things. The main thing, and I'm not giving anything away here because you guys know I hate spoilers. I don't like when anybody tells me something that I'm like, no, I don't want to know because you basically told me the story.
Don't give
There's
it
one
away.
person, lovely, but who tells like almost the entire story every time. Like when they start talking about a book, I'm like, if I wanted to read it, I'm like, exactly. I'm like putting in my noise canceling headphones, like, talk to me 1 second. But I don't even write down the title
Yeah.
because like I get a lot of ideas of books I want to read. Because I'm like, they're going to tell me what happens and then I'm not going to read it. But it's about a woman who is sexually assaulted when she's younger and moves away to avoid, like there was like a whole trial and everything. It was a mess. And her dad, and this is the interesting kind of different part, only talks in prose, like only uses poetry to answer questions and to share things. I found it very fatiguing. There was a couple of people that were like, oh my gosh, I love poetry. And I was just like, skip. Like I'm just like moving past the pages. Because I'm like, I read the first couple, I'm like, I don't understand how that answers the question. Like it required way too much mental effort and I'm not in it for that. So other than like little quirky things like that, couple of little plot things, like it wasn't like the most like, oh my gosh, they tied everything up. But I will say there were things I did not guess were going to happen. And I love that. A lot of times with like a beachy kind of read, I'm like, all right, I'm thinking this is what's going to happen. And I was wrong. And I like being wrong.
Yeah.
So, if that sounds like something that interests you, I invite you to check it out. Oops, I put down my paper with my quote of the week. Okay, quote of the week. This comes from the Wired article about, are you noise sensitive? And they say, every person has a different idea of what makes noise loud, but there are some things that we can all do to turn the volume down a little. So if you want to share what you do to turn the volume down in your life, episode 136, we'd love to hear. Yes. That's it for this episode. Sponsoring Reese's medals. Check them out. Again, check out ADHD-Friendly.com for tools to help you to thrive with ADHD. We hope to see you next time. Until then, tally ho.